So, I got a request to see swords. Who am I to argue? The only problem with that is I'm really not kidding when I say that I have somewhere in the area of about 100 swords. That is not a joke. The closet behind me, where the flags cover it now, it is stacked literally from the floor to where the coat rack bar is with swords. Like sword boxes. And they're stacked, I think they're stacked 2 deep. So, and I also have a sword rack there. I've got swords up there. I've got swords in my room. To pull all that shit out and do like a, and here's this sword type of video. First of all, it's going to be ridiculous, fucking boring. I don't really have like stories to go with all my swords. The best story you're going to get with, I saw this online, thought it was cool, so I bought it. Like, that's pretty much what you're going to get. Actually, I bought most of them out of catalogs. Bud K is great for buying swords if you want to get into the collection of them or whatever. But yeah, so like that's just probably not going to happen. But something I can do is I can show you maybe one at a time whenever I remember to. This is the first sword that was ever purchased for me. I got this when I was 18. Maybe I was actually 16. Maybe 17. Somewhere around 16, 17, 18. We went to a Renaissance fair, and my parents purchased for me this. I think it was like $30. Something like that. It's not a really well made sword. I mean, it's well made for what it is. For a $30 sword, it's pretty well made for what it is. But it's not really like a fantastic blade. It's not really great metal. I think this looks very homemade to me. So, you know, but there it is. It's a ninja toe, is what it's officially called. You can tell a ninja toe because they are like katanas, but straight. Yeah. One little tip I will give, the reason why I keep this sword, as you can kind of see in the shit rusty condition that it is. I don't know how well you can see it with the glare from the light. I'll know better in editing. But you see there's dark spots in it. That's rust. Wherever you see those little dark spots, that shit's rust, right? The reason why I keep it like that is because this is the sword that I allow people to touch the blade on. Like everybody, whenever they're handed a sword, they always immediately start touching the blade. Funny thing about metal, salt water will rust it almost instantly. If you let too much salt water touch metal for too very long, it really doesn't take long to start rusting. And the human body is a large portion water and a lot of salt. We have a lot of salt in us. Our tears are salty because that's salt. Our sweat is salty because that's salt. Our bodies do nothing but leak water and salt all the time, especially on our fingertips. So when you touch the blade, you're putting salt water all over the blade. And it rusts. So I give this to people first and say, get all of your blade touching out of your fucking system now and realize that you're making this worse. And then people do, and then we move on with life, and then they don't touch my nice swords. We'll see how well that's gone for me as we go through my swords, because I imagine that many of them are probably going to look a lot like this. But whatever. It's not that hard to buff it out. So, the first sword I was ever purchased by my folks, ninja toe. There you go. So, in the comment section of the right-wing psycho and the ISIS wives, I paid so much attention to the one goofy conversation, I actually kind of missed a far better and deeper conversation that's been going on. One of you has a very I want to say kind heart. I also want to say that you're gullible. Like, I actually came up with what I think is a brilliant way to give a perspective on it. Essentially what the argument is that it kind of scares this person that the country that she lives in could decide you're not a citizen anymore. She's kind of worried that maybe she goes on vacation out of states and just can't come back. Well, I'm not entirely sure. I may be wrong on this. Don't quote me on what I'm saying. Quote me on the fact I'm saying I might be wrong. But I do believe that there are certain conditions under which the government can essentially revoke citizenship. I'm not sure if I'm correct on that, and I have no idea what exactly those conditions may be. But I don't think it's something that just happens out of hand like that. And it's not really a fantastic comparison to say, well, I might go on vacation and not be allowed back, as opposed to this woman joined a terrorist organization that was actively trying to attack our country, and now she's not allowed back. Huge difference there. There's a huge, vast difference there. So, you know, there's that. But the way I described it in my ultimate response to, you know, the conversation that has been going on for the past couple of days, think of it like this. You're dating somebody for a good long time. Like, this girl wasn't, you know, she wasn't 3 when she left to go join ISIS. She was, you know, into adulthood. So I'd say you're dating somebody for a pretty decent amount of time. And then they start talking to somebody else who convinces them, if you come be with me, things will be so much better. And someday we're going to kill your ex. Right? So your partner, whatever, leaves you to go and be with this other person who wants to kill you. Right? I didn't throw this into it because it's just occurring to me now that that's kind of a better way to describe it. So then they later on find out that everything's lies. There's no way that they're going to be able to kill your ex. They're not even a good person. They're not even successful. In fact, they're failing miserably and at a rapid pace. So then they come back to you and say, I want you to take me back. You gonna take them back? Like, me personally, I'd tell that bitch go fuck herself. She not allowed to come back to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I guess that's the perspective I'm looking at it with, is that she was with us and she wanted to go and join what she had been told was going to be the winning team. Now that it's not the winning team, by a long shot, and in fact very much the losing team, she's going back to the same principle. I want to go join the winning team. So now she wants to come back to the winning team. And I say, no. You don't get to just come back like that. It's not fair to me. Honestly, it's not really fair to you. As an adult, we should have to face the repercussions for our actions. I believe personally. Whatever form that may take. So, you know, there you go. That's kind of my feelings on it. That's kind of the perspective that I'm looking at it with. And I understand. I mean, I understand from a human point of view. I'm still a human being, and so is she. I don't want to see her come to harm. I don't want to see her killed in a war. I don't want to see anybody come to harm or be killed in a war. I frankly don't understand why we do it to each other. But nevertheless, the fact still remains, I'm not so... I have more self-respect than to allow somebody to be an opportunist in that way and to try and take advantage of what's obviously a much better place for treating people, I guess. Like, I respect myself very deeply, and I love myself very deeply. And if somebody betrays my trust in such a way as I feel that this woman has kind of collectively betrayed all of our trust, you know what I mean? Like, she chose to turn her back on us and join a group that wants to kill us. Like, I can't seriously say, oh, well, you know, they lost and it's sad that you're with them and I feel for you, so you can go ahead and come back. Because honestly, to me, that's just having her come back and saying all is forgiven and forgotten just so that X amount of years down the road, the next terrorist organization can sweet talk her into joining them against us again. So yeah, I don't think that, you know, my side's losing, so I want to come back home. I don't really think that shows growth of person. I don't really think that that has in any way shown that she has seen the error of her ways. And I don't think that she particularly has a whole lot of respect for us. The thing that really bugs me the most is when she was interviewed and they asked her what she believes the punishment she should suffer is. And she said, I don't know, therapy? Bitch, like, therapy at the least. And it should be therapy with, like, I don't even know, blunt objects of some sort. I don't even know. Like, I don't think that therapy I don't think that punishment fits the crime. You know what I mean? I think the punishment of you left us, you now have to suffer the consequences of that decision. I think that punishment, you know, that equals the crime. Right? So, there you go. That's my thoughts on the conversation that's currently, well, I don't know how currently it's going on still, but that was going on at one point in the comments about the ISIS wives, which honestly was the topic I thought was going to get a lot more fucking play on, but hey, whatever. It did wind up being a very good conversation. I think it was a very good conversation between the people that were involved. Kudos to everybody who was involved in that conversation. I think very good points were raised. Of course, it was obviously kept civil the whole way through because it was never really a contentious issue between anybody. You know, the person came out and said, you know, I don't know morally how I feel about that. And it's like, well, you're not really thinking about it maybe entirely. So, yeah, there you go. Hope everybody's having a good day.